with you.
This is not a life I want my daughter to be involved in. Too much blood, Mama. Once you cross that line, there is no turning back.
I can do this.
Tomorrow, you will get your orders.
Make sure you come right home after school, okay?
What did you do? What did you do?
He's at the location. It's being handled.
Life is about courage. It takes courage to get back on the bike.
We take care of our own. All right, let's go.
Oh, and welcome to Born to Ride Radio. I'm Dave the Flashman Morgan. We are doing our thing right here in our underground bunker. Lots of cool stuff. I hope everybody is staying home and staying safe. We're doing our best to bring you as much content as we possibly can. And, I teased a little bit last week, but famous people are among us today. Without further ado, look who it is from Nation's Fire. Krista, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave the Flash Man. Thanks for having me.
Man, listen, it is my pleasure. When Ron told us that you were gonna be showing up, I was like, Ron, shut up. Why you lying to me like that?
That's cool.
World-renowned superstar like that? You can't. Are you kidding me? And then sure enough, she showed up at the door. I almost fainted.
You're too kind. Thank you.
So how is all this COVID-19 and all this affecting you? Doing okay with the stay at home? Of course, we're doing the CDC guidelines. We're across the room.
Correct.
So that everything falls into place with the CDC guidelines. But how's that affecting things at home?
It's not too bad, actually. So I'm an artist, so I live inside my own head.
Right.
So it works out pretty well.
It works out
Lots
good.
of ideas.
Yeah, there you go. It gives you a lot of time to write and create.
That's right.
Yeah. So you obviously the movie Nation's Fire. I actually got to watch it today.
I'm so glad you
Listen,
did.
it was on my to-do list for months, and same thing with me. I finally had a little break today, so I was able to get it done, and I was on the edge of my seat more than a couple of times. I'm not going to lie to you.
That is awesome to hear, and that was our goal.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we accomplished that.
You did with
deal.
me for all intents and purposes, and I loved seeing being up at the Scooter Haven. I because I ride and I get up there with the boys every now and again when we go north. So it was kind of cool to see, and it was cool to see a lot of the guys. My normal riders, guys that were local that I have not seen because I do a lot of the hosting of the Born to Ride bike shows and events and things. So it's cool to see a lot of the guys getting that national attention. It was very cool.
It was really cool, actually, that they all came. They showed up. They were there all day. It was a long, long day.
Yeah.
We had a couple thousand riders,
Unreal.
And there's like no bond like the brotherhood and sisterhood of bikers.
Listen, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
And that's why we're
Me
doing the
too.
Born to Ride Radio. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You can always count on our bikers for showing up.
Exactly.
So let's start from the beginning. Now, how did you get into doing the movies and doing what you do?
That's a big question. I've been really doing movies my whole life, and I really just looked at it as a hobby, like something I did for fun.
All right.
So when I first moved to Florida from Minnesota, I took some acting classes for fun, and one of our assignments was to go in and audition, like try to find an audition, get a headshot done, and I had no resume, no nothing, so
Right.
I did, and I ended up auditioning for a short film called Filthy, where it was about a bunch of inbred hoarders. It was a horror film.
Okay.
And I ended
Had
up
me at
getting the
inbred.
part. Yeah, I ended up getting the
Kidding.
part. I don't know what that says about me, but
What does that even mean?
I knew I had it. When they said, you're going to play pussy, an inbred transient, I said, I got this.
I'm all over that.
And, I got the part. So it was actually shot on film,
Yeah.
which is very rare.
Yeah.
It was amazing. and we had it was a great budget for a short film, and it ended up running the festival circuit around the country, and we won 23 awards.
Get out.
Yeah, it was crazy. I showed up to Chiller Convention with a lot of the big name horror actors. And it was amazing. Just for the short film Filthy, there was a line all the way out the door. I'm next to Tom Savini and Elvira. And there was a line going out the door, and people were saying my names, my lines from the movie.
Right.
So I was like, you know what?
That's how you can tell, man. That's
I
how you
know.
can
I
tell
said,
they're listening, they're
people
watching.
watched it. I was
love
like,
it.
wait. So I'm looking at the
I love
director,
it.
writer, Andy, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like none.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I love and that I've just always done, and that's it. So I never expected anything to come of it or anything like that. It's just my passion.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So what have you done? What led you up to Nation's Fire?
Well, I had met Thomas J. Churchill, who is a close friend of mine and the writer-director of Nation's Fire. So Tom and I have been working together for... It's been years now. I mean, it's like 15 years now. And we met through Brooke McCarter, rest in peace, who was in the Lost Boys, the legendary Lost Boys movie. And so Brooke and I were friends, and he introduced me to Tom over the phone because he was looking for somebody to play in one of his other feature films, Emerging Past. So I ended up getting the lead role in that, and then we filmed that in New York. And then from there, Tom and I have worked together on everything that we've done since. So we did a movie called Checkpoint with Bill Goldberg and William Forsythe and Kane Hodder, and we came down to Florida to promote Checkpoint, and we were at the Born to Ride anniversary party. It was the 20th anniversary party for Born to Ride promoting, and Ronnie, Tom, and I started talking, because of course you're always planning your next project.
Sure.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to do things that I want to do rather. Because, of course, I'm going to be typecast. Look at me. You know what I mean? And it's going to be I just don't want to be the horror girl running in a rainy T-shirt.
Right.
So, there's other things.
Not that we mind.
Yeah.
Not that
right,
we mind.
Look,
Just saying.
Good times. But, so there's other things that I want to play because I know that, I can do that easily. So we started talking about, a biker-themed action thriller.
Right.
And we were just like, well.
What could be better than
yeah,
that?
right? Let's just
what
do
could be
it.
better than that?
There's not enough biker movies out there.
Right.
There's just
I
not
concur.
very many. And
Right.
it's that's kind of crazy to me because, you can dive into that culture, and with the success of Sons of Anarchy and stuff like that, I mean, it shows that there's a demand for that, a high demand.
Sure.
So so we decided to move forward and do it, but we had no idea how we were going to fund this movie or how we're going to go about everything.
Right.
And then so we went around the country and we met with different investors in my industry, in our industry of aviation software. And people were like, oh, well, how am I going to get my money back? Like that.
Right.
And then Ronnie goes, we looked at each other, and Ron's like, good question. I was like, oh, shit, we have to have an answer for this. So Tom's sitting there, and Tom's like, oh, well, there's Redbox, there's this and that. Yeah, all that exists, but how do we get in?
Right.
Because so many indie filmmakers, there is not an avenue for that. That is the biggest struggle.
Right.
Is, getting a return on that investment. And you don't want to, the last thing you want to do is screw over your investors, which is a very, very common thing in this industry.
Right.
So, Bob Ori and Jerry Roberts, these are my partners, decided that the three of us decided that we would go ahead and move forward with executive producing the movie.
Okay.
And so that's what we did. But we wanted to make sure that we had a guarantee for distribution before we move forward, of course.
So what's
you gotta
all
start at the
involved
back
in
end
that
first.
end of it? I mean, this is the cool secretive stuff that people don't really get to hear about and see.
Right.
What are the struggles with that as far as getting the distribution and getting it out there, for lack of a better term?
It is capital hell. hell. And so it's very important because in any industry, it's all about who you know.
Right.
You know, you can have all the talent in the world, even all the money in the world, but it's about who you know.
Right.
Because you're not going to be able to get in with a studio or anybody else because you can't just submit it. Like
Right.
people say, "Oh, I can get this on Netflix. Netflix would love this." No, Netflix wouldn't care.
Right.
You have to like have an in with somebody at Netflix. They don't.
Right.
They don't take unsolicited material. You can't
Right.
just like here you go, guys.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. So we ended up meeting with Phil Goldfine, and Phil came down from L.A. to Florida to have a meeting with us, and we were in Fort Lauderdale. And Phil has an Oscar, an Emmy, and now a Tony,
Right.
which is pretty cool. And we had the conversation about, distribution. And that's what he does because he works with, the major studios.
Right.
So we figured, okay, now we can move forward because we didn't want to spend a dime until we knew. I mean, even just get half your money back would
Sure.
be it's a huge success in this industry
Right.
on
Right.
an investment. So, but I think we're actually going to do well with that because we ended up going with a good distributor. I'm very happy with Vision Films. They're a division under Sony. And so things are looking really good so far with that.
And by the way, folks, I watched it on Amazon Prime today.
Yay!
Streamed right on through, so you must have done something right.
It is free now, too, for Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. And we do, it is available,
Well, listen, I was ready to give you my $3.99. I'm just telling you like it is. But they said, nope, it
Well,
started
that's-
playing. I'm like, all right, home run.
That's a cool deal for us, and we just secured that. Actually, that just started today.
Mm-hmm.
So we still earn our revenue off that, and then Amazon Prime gives it, free to their Prime members.
Right,
so it
right.
is a big deal. It's
Well,
really
good deal,
cool.
man. That's great. So for the folks that haven't got to see it yet, to give them a little tease about it, then give us a little bit about the storyline. And you actually got to do a lot of the writing on this, I presume?
Well, Thomas Churchill did the writing, and this movie, we started off with the intention of making this a real roller coaster. There's a lot of drama.
And it is.
Yeah,
And there
drama,
is.
action, and we want it to be heartfelt at the same time because there is.
That's a hard balance.
It really is.
That's a hard balance right there.
But and it's life, though.
Yeah.
It's really a metaphor
Yeah.
for life and what
Yeah.
everybody can relate to. And even if people look at something that happens in the movies and say, "Oh, bull crap, that would never happen,"
Oh,
well,
yeah.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, look
Yeah.
at the things we deal with now, and we're like, never would have thought this would.
We're
happen,
gonna
right?
we're gonna play an interview here that we had with Mr. Dern
Yeah.
here in just a couple of minutes. Bruce Dern, and what was the name of his character?
Pop Pop,
Pop
CW
Pops.
Nation.
Yes.
So he's my daddy.
And yeah, so in the movie, and he was describing about being in some old school biker flicks, and I remember seeing him, and he said the exact same thing. There's such a demand for the for what you're looking at. You're talking about motorcycles, and it's sort of a mysterious thing.
Right.
People, and it's cool too, especially working with Ron, which we're going to talk about Ron's involvement here when we come back from the break here in a minute. But what's amazing about Ron is one, that he's such a great idea guy, but one of the things that I realized that your dad in the movie was talking about all the bikers coming together with no colors and none of this and none of the baggage that goes along, just a bunch of bikers coming together and enjoying the ride.
That's right.
And that's why I'm a biker, and that's
Right.
why I've been involved with Ronnie for so long, because that's what it is. It doesn't matter if you're riding a Harley or riding a Honda, whatever you're riding, you're a biker.
Right.
And you either are, and I always tell those people, you either get it or you don't.
Right.
And so I think that part of it was certainly was felt, because you think it's going to be just a biker movie, but there's so much more when you delve into the movie.
It's human. It's about
And it really
humanity.
is. And that's another thing he says.
Unity, and
Yeah.
that's what the biker community is all about.
Oh, yeah.
And we come
Yeah.
together with, funerals or
Fundraisers.
fundraisers, Toys
Oh,
for Tots, and
yeah.
all these drives that are done. And
I must put 1,000 miles on my bike just in December doing all the toy runs that
right,
we do.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
And these are people that do it out of, selflessness, out of true care and unconditional love.
Yeah.
But they also have that reputation of people don't want to F with them.
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of the whole thing, And that's what I love about the community.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. Let's take a short break. More with Krista Gotti Saxon. No T, by the way. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back and pick her brain a little bit more. But check out this interview behind the scenes with Bruce Dern. It's Born to Ride Radio.
Basically, bikes. I started my career doing a lot of, well, not my career, but early in my career, I did about 11 biker films in 5 years, most for Roger Corman. And we had a group of us, 4 or 5 of us, Jack Nicholson, myself, Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, Michael Parks. We would be the guys that would do the biker movies. And there was a lot of acid and stuff in those movies, so they were kind of drive-in movies. Nobody's ever made a really great motorcycle movie. Ours were kind of exploitation movies for drive-ins, and that's what they did, and we'd make them for about $160,000 in 10 days, and they'd make $5 or $6 million in the drive-in, and they made a company called American International Pictures, AIP, and Roger Corman. What attracted me to this material was the dialogue and the care for relationships that weren't working, that were broken. And from what you just saw in there, that these people would carry on like that in front of a 7-year-old little kid is disgusting. But I've had people in my life that have done such things, and I'm sure a lot of other people have too. And I like the fact that somebody wrote that down with a passion to get that on screen. People see it. I don't know what Tom's background is, but trust me, there's something going on there that we saw in this movie. And it makes sense, and it works. And the most interesting thing about it is it's audience-orientated, because there's no age group that should see this movie except anyone between 10 and 80. Or 90, I'm 80. So it's just because, and the bikes aren't what the movie's about. The movie's about behavior and people and heart and courage, and this girl being out to go out there and get done. When I was 11 years old, my mother said to me, "How come you never come home after school? Your track practice," because I was a big runner, is over by 4:30, 4:45. You're never home till 6:15. What do? I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. I said, well, I go out and do stuff. I have a friend, I go out and do stuff. Well, what do you do? That's more important than coming home and being on time for things here. And when in my house, you had to wear white gloves to dinner and dress in a suit every dinner for 18 years, from the time I was 3 years old on. And I said, I tell you what I do, Mother. Me and my friend like up. And that's what I loved about whoever wrote this script, because he may have waited till later in his life, but he's saying, hey folks, if you want to go these kind of routes, this is what can happen. And it is people that, because of their human spirit, rose above it and, excuse the expression, but got us done. You know what I mean? And the whole thing that I say in the movie about one man, one horse, and this is what it is, you know, is synonymous with the bikers. The thing that's neat about it is, this is not a Western, but it is what the Westerns were about. This is a Western because it's still on motorcycles, which is why people left East St. Louis every April and went 15 miles a day in a covered wagon or on a horse by himself all the way to Sacramento. And not for gold. This was even before gold. They went because they knew the following phrase, if you take the song, and that's what this movie's about in the bike culture. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain. And what do you think he saw? What he saw was a chance for a bigger tapestry, like the pioneers saw. That's why when these guys get on bikes, whether the old lady's on the back or not, they are doing something no one else is really doing. They're getting out there, and they're not risking their lives, but they're risking to find what they really want to find. It's like in Catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield says he wanted to just grab the brass ring. That's all these folks want to do. And they just don't want to be hassled by people on the way. And all the negativity about bikers and outlaw motorcycle gangs and everything else. All the bikers I was around, and I was around from Sonny Barger to all the Hells Angels in Oakland and San Bernardino and everything else, and the bona fide outlaw guys. And on my jacket in this movie, it says 1% here. That's because they're the 1% of society that thinks they don't belong or don't fit. And all they want you to do is just accept them. They want to be accepted. Everyone I knew in the days we were going in the 60s were all Korean veterans, and they were the most patriotic guys I ever knew. Their biggest day of the year was Memorial Day. You know, now they don't even celebrate it on Memorial Day, but all the bikers do. They wait till the 30th of May, and that's when they celebrate it, because that's when it is. So there's a history here that in the movie makers and the crew and the productivity. I mean, I'm here one day, and I saw 20 days of work done in a day because everybody pulled their oar. And it's very rare to see. And we're talking wildcat crews. I mean, I don't know where all you came to. I don't think you've done 10 movies together, you know what I mean? And it's a joy to see, and it's a delight, and there's an energy here that is really interesting. But the biggest thing is the story itself and the pictures that the story will show you. Because the man didn't make a movie about bikers. He made a movie about people. And as long as he stays that way, that kid will do big stuff. And as long as people like you have faith in a kid like that, to hang in there with him. He's got problems. He's got to learn about time constraints. He's got to learn about he doesn't have as much to spend as he thinks he does. But he molded a group of people together in a short period of time that worked just like a team. I'd never heard anybody yell today. I never heard an argument. I never saw anything. It was just smooth. That is really rare. So if the folks get out and see this movie when it gets out, and you got to get it out there, and it will get out there. I don't know who you go to and show distributors, but any distributor would be nuts not to pick up a movie like this, because this is money. You know, I'm not saying it's going to win Oscars or anything like that, but it's going to get the folks' attention. And not just the folks that go to biker movies, but people that want to know why we behave why the way we do in times of crisis. And that's what this does. And you have a little girl's point of view, an older man's point of view, a guy in prison's point of view, and the city or wherever it is point of view of who those people are in their community. And that's really all I have to say, but that's what you got here. You know, you got lightning in a bottle. If you carry it on from here, you know, you're good.
Born to Ride Magazine, the #1 biker magazine that delivers dynamic content for you, the reader, every month, has done it again. Stronger than ever, powered by Rubenstein Law. See the April 2020 issue online and on the streets, featuring Vigilante Motorworks on the cover with Crystal Maiden. John Bonner is a fabricator builder featured from Chaparema. And Eric Runyon nails the cover shot. Appalachian Backroads, Virginia is for motorcycle lovers. Learn about a ride that has 3 mountains, 438 curves, and 32 miles. Nefarious James, real deal, loyal to the bone. Check out his new column, Unspoken Responsibility. And get ready for Tattoo Portrait Photo Series from Nick Ermine. Unbelievable, like never before seen tattoo artwork, photography that Born to Ride delivers for you, the reader. Bam! Bam! Plus more content, more dynamic images, 8 pages of Bike Week 2020. And did you see Miss Liberty? The Rubenstein Law cartel bagger build that was everywhere at Bike Week. And time for an industry report. The Phenom, Tiny Trailer Nation. Randy Klaus delivers the goods you need to know to get your tiny trailer for a third of the price of a toy hauler. So read it, watch it, ride it, plus so much more. Born to Ride, April 2020 issue on the streets and online now. For you, the reader.
Hi,
Hi, I'm attorney Nicole Armstrong from Rubenstein Law, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 2, beware of strangers. If you've been in an accident and a stranger contacts you to get your case, watch out. They're breaking the law. These crooks knock on your door, send you text messages, and even go into your hospital room uninvited. They work for shady clinics and lawyers who want the insurance proceeds for themselves. Don't hire them, report them.
For more of these rules, go to rubensteinlaw.com.
It's Born to Ride's the Safe at Home Bike Show. A 10-class bike show for you to easily enter. Best of all, it's absolutely free. Just enter your photos of your motorcycle with your name, make, and model to our direct message, Facebook, or Instagram. Best of show to be featured with a photo shoot by Eric Runyon for the cover of Born to Ride magazine. So be a part of the Born to Ride Safe at Home Bike Show.
I am Gloria Nation.
You skip bail. I'm here to take you in.
I wanted to follow my daddy's footsteps, so I started my club, Heaven's Fire. Daddy was my strength. It was Daddy who helped raise Thomas after I was deployed overseas. Thomas, my world, my heart.
I want to work with you.
This is not a life I want my daughter to be involved in. Too much blood, Mom. Once you cross that line, there is no turning back.
I can do this.
Tomorrow, you will get your orders.
Make sure you come right home after school, okay?
What did you do? What did you do?
He's at the location. It's being handled.
Life is about courage. It takes courage to get back on the bike.
We take care of our own.
All right, let's go.
And we are back. It is Born to Ride Radio. Krista Grotti Saxon in the house with it from Nation's Fire. Actor. Talk about executive producer, ownership on the set. We're going to get into that in a minute. But first, I got to talk to you. Bruce Dern, what was he like to work with? Tell me about this guy, because he's one of those guys that when he starts talking, I just love to listen to him. He could just go on all night.
Oh, absolutely. And, that it was really cool actually working with him, because there's some, bigger name actors who I have worked with, and they were complete divas to where I would be ashamed of my damn self, Right. And and with his experience and Oscar nominations and stuff like that, it's, it's really great. Not only great to see, but it's important that, somebody be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's just a real guy.
Right.
So for me, it was just more, I just enjoy hearing any person in their 80s talk about their history.
Right. Right.
So when we were in the makeup room, and he talked a lot about working with Roger Corman and, just the movies that they used to do back in the 60s.
Yeah,
and,
back in the day.
Yeah, man.
Big time names,
It was a big
too,
deal.
man.
It was a big deal. So
Yeah.
it was cool.
Yeah. I've always wondered, when you get into movies like this, that they got a lot of action, and there was some how do I put, some pretty graphic people getting shot. Let's just put it that way. How's it like working with the kids when the kids are on the set? Like the little guy that played your son, and the girl that had the helmet. What was her name in the movie?
Georgia.
Yeah. What's it like for the kids being on set? I mean, I know the adults, and especially being around a bunch of bikers and whatnot. What'd you do to make them feel comfortable? How does that work with kids? I've always wondered about that in the action flicks.
Yeah, so first of all, if you're a child actor, you do have to be immune to seeing and hearing anything, right?
Right.
but they're aware that this is a set and this is all, pretend. And
Right.
and these were old, for the younger kids anyway.
Right.
It was rough for the little Gloria who played the mini me. That was actually Phil Goldfine's daughter, and Mama and Bruce Dern had to have an argument, like a fight in the house.
Right.
It was so funny because I automatically went running over to her and I got on my knees. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And because she's like this,
Whoa.
like watching, you know what I mean? And
They're just
you could
acting,
tell it
honey.
like scared her with their big fight because
Right.
she was just little things. So
And I guess
really
it was
real
kind of cool
to
because
her.
that really was a real reaction from her.
It was. And then, but with the other kids, this was a SAG production. We have a lot of requirements that we do have to follow. We had tutors on set every day. The teachers would work with the kids, and they'd have to get their schoolwork in between takes. And I think that their parents were all there, so that made them all comfortable, and we gave them lots of food and snacks.
There you go.
That's
you
our
can't
job.
go wrong with food and snacks.
That's
Hell, I'll
right.
get on there for that.
Yeah.
Work for food. We'll work for food and snacks.
But the kids were so excited to be there. Like, they're just so
Sure.
excited. Like, this is this big production. And when you're an actor, it is literally the feeling of going to Disney when
Right.
you're a little kid, when
Yeah.
you're on set. That's how
Yeah.
I feel.
Right.
Especially on a horror set, when I
Mm-hmm.
get to see all the effects and the dismembered bodies and the blood and the gore. It's amazing to me because this is such an art.
Right.
It's so awesome.
Right.
So.
I have a good buddy of mine who got into doing that sort of stuff here locally. My buddy Chuck Palm. God love you, buddy. He like Halloween is his favorite holiday because he
too.
gets to go and make all of his yard monsters. He calls them.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good. But he's gotten into doing where they make up the faces, and he made me up as a werewolf one year. And I went to a party, and I mean, it was so real. It scared me in the mirror half the time, but I didn't say a word.
That's
you know,
awesome.
I
though.
didn't say a word. I just would walk up and stand next to people.
Yeah.
And they're all my close friends. Nobody knew me, and he's
Wow.
really perfected it. He's gotten. I think he's gotten on a couple of independent films now, and where they filmed here locally in Florida. And he's done a. I've seen every time he's also a fellow karaoke DJ. I would go over and sing with him once in a while, and he would pull out his phone. Look what I did! Look what I did here! Look
Oh,
what
that's cool.
And it, like you say, it's the art form.
It is.
And these guys are so into what they do, just like like we are.
Right.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. it is.
Well, speaking of like the big name actors, and then putting them together with the supporting folks, go through how that works. How do you cast for something like that?
Well, first of all, we hired a casting company to oversee that. And we sat in Phil Goldfine's office at Universal Hollywood to discuss potential names in the movie. And this is a very tedious process because, the biggest question people will ask is like, what's the budget? And then can I get 80% of it? If you want me in it, I want it all, right?
Yeah, right.
So there's no money left to do whatever.
Right.
They just have such high expectations, depending on the name. But then again, there's a lot of actors who were big names that he would say, nope, that I wanted to see, that I wanted
Right.
to hire. And he said, nope, won't bring in any money. Nope. So really, when
And I guess
you're-
that's their talent as well. They know how to do that, I suppose.
it is completely all about the names, number one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a couple decent names in there if you want to be able to get a decent distribution deal,
Right.
supposedly.
Right.
I don't believe that so much now as what we were told throughout the process. But I know that having names like Bruce Dern, Chuck Liddell, and stuff, it was Gil Bellows. It was it was very beneficial for the movie.
How about Chuck? How was he to work with?
Oh my God, wonderful.
Yeah.
Kind of feel sorry for Chuck because no guys would want to talk to him too much. And that's his biggest thing that he said, because we went to the green room to discuss, and before we had to shoot one of our scenes in the jail. And he's
Intense,
like,
guys. It was
Yeah,
intense.
yeah.
It was intense.
he was like, I'm really glad you're telling me what I need to do because only women tell me. Men won't tell me anything because they think I'm going to punch them.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I could take, yes, I ain't worried about
right.
it. But I think that he's a really good guy, you know. And I know Ronnie was interviewing him after we shot some of our scenes, and Ronnie asked him, what was the most difficult part, you know, about today for you? And he said, you know, the toughest thing for me was calling her a bitch. And I was like, what a freaking guy.
Right.
That's a man right there.
Right.
That's really cool. He said, because I don't talk to women that way.
Right.
You know, so good people. We got lucky with everybody we had on set.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Well, let me ask you this, because you see it in the trailer of the movie. We've already played it a couple times. Did you have to do any kind of special training? I mean, are you just a Billy Badass?
I am just a Billy Badass.
Is that what it is?
No
special training?
Love it. I love to fight. I love anything physical, you know. So I love action, and I wanted a lot more.
So did you have to go? I mean, obviously, you know, you probably didn't really knock somebody's ass out, but I mean, there's an art form to that as
Absolutely.
well. I mean, did you have to learn all that for
It's a
this, or
dance.
was that something that you've done?
We have to choreograph, and sometimes, you know, you can hire a female actress and say, you know, I need you to throw, you know, you're going to do this fight scene. I mean, not
Did you do that,
everybody
or did
can
you throw
just
all
do
your
that,
punches? Did you throw
or
your
guys
punches?
either.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's absolutely a method and an art to that. You have to really be able to, like, break a jaw like glass. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people think, oh, it's just a movie and this and that. No, I'm really throwing the punches.
Right.
I'm really throwing the kicks. I'm really doing this. And we have to choreograph it so that, you know, this is real and this is as close as possible, or really hitting him and he's got a metal armor on under the vest.
Right.
You know, which
Right.
did hurt. So, you know, there's
Hurt you
there's
or
a
hurt
reality to filmmaking.
Yeah.
Completely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You ever accidentally really kick the crap out of somebody? Punch them in the face, knock them out?
Yeah, on Checkpoint, I felt kind of bad a couple times. Kane Hodder was actually my stunt coordinator, and if you know Kane's that big dude. Like, he's well known for Naked Gun, 33 and a Half. Like, he's known for a lot of movies. Him and his partner,
Right.
and Devil's Rejects and those movies. And we did. I was on the set of Checkpoint, and Kane and I were going over the whole fight scene or whatever, and then I went in and I was like, okay. So I just went around. It's this fight scene that I had to do on Checkpoint where I was like, I took out the hooker outside and then went into the hotel room and then pretend that I was just the hooker and danced and then killed them all.
Right.
So I went to, you know, we had to rehearse that because we want to do it in one solid take
Gotcha.
so that cameras can just follow around, do the whole thing without cutting and, you know, splicing it.
Right.
So that's what we did. So I was like, okay, we'll do that. So we choreographed it, and then when I first did it to the guy, I didn't realize that he really had his cane, and we called him Tripod. But we didn't realize that he really had the, you know, and, you know, when he went down, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And same with one of the boys in the hotel room, I felt bad because I felt like he got pretty hurt kicking him, you know what I mean, in the chest. So so there's things you got to watch, you know, and and just
certain ways you got to throw the punch and throw the kicks and whatnot.
correct, because you got to just miss, like,
Right. I got you.
you got to cheat it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we'll take another quick break. We're going to show you some of the behind-the-scenes footage from Nation's Fire. Check this out. This is Born to Ride Radio.
hearts of me and you. Yeah. All the miles leave a trail. All our brothers and sisters never fail. I found our heroes, they're everywhere, Lord. On the porches, living out the days. Oh yeah. Can't be so wrong if it feels so right. Can't be so wrong if I wanna be an outlaw. It would be so wrong if I could never find you ever again. America's nothing without the red, white, blue, and the hearts of me and you.
Just forget all that. Put it aside and remember the key word, biker. The only thing you'd have in common then would be the openness of the road, riding your bike with the free wind hitting you in the face. That's what it is. True bikers. Because what that is whether they're guy bikers, girl bikers, whatever it is, they're banding together for a common cause. Peace, love, and above all else, unity.
Can't be so wrong when it feels so right. Can't be so wrong when I wanna be an outlaw. Can't be so wrong when it feels so right. Can't be so wrong when it feels so right. Can't be so wrong if I wanna be an outlaw. Can't tell me right, can't tell me wrong. Can't tell me right, can't tell me wrong. Can't be so wrong if it feels so right. I just wanna get back home before they forget my name. Never wanna leave you alone, but I had to play the game. Lord, Lord, Lord,
How can I do all this? How can I go all the way back to 1927? I'm only 6 years old.
Awesome.
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, you got it going on.
There you go. Something's not right. Something's not adding up right.
I think it's adding up just fine, my friend. Me too.
There's another ride to nowhere. Yeah, the wind keeps calling my name. We all want the freedom without the pain. Sometimes we think that there's nothing left to gain. Oh, you can't be so wrong when it feels so right. Can't be so wrong if I wanna be an outlaw.
It's Born to Ride's the Safe at Home Bike Show. A 10-class bike show for you to easily enter. Best of all, it's absolutely free. Just enter your photos of your motorcycle with your name, make, and model to our direct message, Facebook, or Instagram. Best of show to be featured with a photo shoot by Eric Runyon for the cover of Born to Ride magazine. So be a part of the Born to Ride Safe at Home Bike Show.
Everyone was right, I was born to ride. Born to Ride is a multimedia marketing and promotional machine with TV, magazines, streaming radio, and internet advertising opportunities. There are tens of thousands of motorcycles. We reach the people who ride them. Born to Ride. Find out more at borntoride.com.
Born to Ride Radio continues. I hope you guys are digging it. Make sure you share us. Born to Ride Facebook is Born to Ride TV magazine if you need to expose somebody to this great content. Krista Grotti-Saxon is in the house. Nation's Fire. We are asking her all kinds of questions. And so far, she's been pretty doggone good there, to be honest with you. Got a lot of folks checking in today. Got to say shout out to John Howell. John, I hope you got the name of it. It's Nation's Fire. Greg's checking in tonight. Tara's in the house. Lynn, Dr. Paul Bearer says Halloween. We were talking about Halloween a little while ago.
Yes.
He's giving you a big shout out. Jeffrey Bell, my buddy James from the Shriners checking in. My boy Sharp in the house. Who else we got? Patty's in the house. Michelle, thanks so much for checking in. Just tons of people. Dave Savage in the house. My buddy Wayne is checking in as well. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show every Tuesday from 7 to 8. I know you talked a little bit about earlier. You did a lot of the shooting in L.A. and then we did a lot here in Florida. How did you balance that out?
That was pretty crazy because, first of all, I was against shooting in both LA and Florida because it just didn't seem, realistic financially, first of all.
Yeah.
But we did, so because of the studios over there and the talent, and so we had a lot, and a lot of our team is from there. So it worked out pretty well, actually, and then we shot all the exteriors here in Florida. So essentially we did 2 shoots for this movie and then combined that together. But there was difficulty in that we had to bring the bike down, my pop bike, because that was a 65 Shovelhead, and it's the red and white. Like, you're not going to find another one like just like that.
Yeah, they ain't a whole lot of those laying around.
Right. So, things like that where it would have been easier to just do this all in one location, because then you got to bring the stunt coordinators down, and there's a lot. So and then of course travel everybody over from LA to Florida, Florida to LA.
Right.
But I was very actually happy with the studios we used. Our cast was phenomenal. Our cast was amazing.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. I wouldn't change one single thing.
That makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
There was one person. I think.
Just one. You know who you're talking
everything
about.
else, everything was perfect.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. So.
Dr. Paul Bear wasn't in the movie, was he?
No.
Kidding, Dr. Paul Bear. I'm just playing.
Dr. Paul Bear, I saw you on Tommy Rock's music video.
Yeah.
That was adorable, actually.
He's a man. Him and Mr. Nightlife are good buddies, I think.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. So, I got to stroke my boy's back a little bit. Nasty Ronnie, I call him, Ron Galletti. That's my boy from back in the day. What was he? The creative producer? Is that what his title was?
Yeah.
He loves those titles like that. I love that.
He does, because he's so creative.
Well, you hit it right on the head. I'm going to tell you right now, and I tell this almost every week. Ron and I have worked together for years, and you come to Ron with just a smidgen of an idea, and Ron will blow it up. He makes it big. And then the next thing you know, he likes to what I call testify. He'll testify.
He does.
Have you seen him do that yet?
Oh,
you love it.
Oh yeah.
He'll probably be calling in to testify. He likes to do that about once a week as well. But how was Ronnie to work with? That's my boy right there now. Be easy on him.
I love Ron, though. And Ron and I go way back. years ago, when I started hosting bike nights with Craven Moorhead.
Right.
Rest in peace, Craven.
Rest in peace, buddy. Yeah, we miss that guy.
So I miss him too. So we, I know Ron very well, Deb, the family.
And his, I was gonna say, and his boss Debbie.
Yes, and she's amazing.
Yes, she
brilliant
is.
woman.
She is.
I love Deb, and so it was a no-brainer when we got together, me, him, and Tom, about doing this. And Ron and I had been talking about this for like 10 years.
Right.
And, I'd been working on other productions, but I wasn't at the point of executive producing at that point.
Now, what does that mean exactly? Tell me what that means. Executive producer, what is under that hat?
Well, in my case, I own Nations Fire, LLC, Nations Fire, the movie. And executive producing team consists of Jerry Roberts, Robert Ory, and myself. That is the financial, completely budget, the complete budget, financed the film. And there's a lot, of course, moving parts when you're executive producer.
Sure.
And, of course, being that this is your product and you want to see a return on that product, of course, you're going to oversee some things and want to make sure that it's done a certain way.
Done the way
and
you
that's
want
where
it,
Ronnie steps in. That's where even Craven stepped in and helped, because this is a biker theme movie and not everybody involved understood the culture.
Right.
So there were some things in post-production that I knew needed to be done. Ronnie knew, even coming on the set, like our teams were wonderful, but we wanted to mess up the vests a bit, right?
Okay.
These guys, they wear that as a badge of honor. It's not like they just got it out of freaking Macy's.
Right.
So we have to, you bring that real element to it. And Ronnie had lots of things that went on in it that were his idea as well.
Right.
So it's kind of where we all collectively come together and give our experience and understanding of what we know, and then put that together. Even with the girls' club, a 1%er club is never going to be. They're not going to wear the Florida rocker on their back, right?
Right.
So we'd get that stuff ripped off us, or oh no. So I went in and added narrative to say to explain that. Everything in a movie you need to explain, and then nobody said a word. Had I not explained that, people would have been upset and like, get this stupid movie. You know what I mean? So there are things that you have to, to give it that element of realness, even though everybody knows it's.
And you're right. It certainly is a culture. And if you don't understand the culture, then you're certainly not going to be able to bring it across.
That's right.
Like you did in this movie. And it was certainly well done in the movie. Speaking of that, how long did it take you to shoot this thing from beginning to end? I mean, you said you've worked on it for such a long time, but the actual shooting part, how long did that take to get it done?
The actual shoot was only like 40 days, maybe?
Well, that's not bad.
30-some, 40 days.
A month?
Yeah, a little over a month. Because the real work is everything behind. It's the pre-production.
Yes.
And then, of course, you got the post-production,
yes.
the editing.
And we do that, we do that here, too, with Mr. Nightlife in there. That's, shout out to him, because he does a lot of the post-production. I can't even imagine on film what they call rendering.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I can't imagine that part of it.
And technically, to get it on all these different platforms, there's so many requirements, from Amazon to iTunes to DVD. And so you have to have 3 formats of the production, of course, and different aspect ratios.
Right.
And quality control, sound.
Sure.
So there's so many different things, and then people have to go in with quality control and make sure that there's not a reflection off this guy's sunglasses that's beaming off the rearview mirror in this scene on this.
Right.
And then when they find all those things, which could be pages, then, you got to go back in and edit again.
Yep.
And this could go on and on, because it won't get accepted if you want to get on these major platforms.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So it's work.
It certainly is. Yeah, people don't realize the work that goes in. They just think, you just shoot it and throw it together. No, it's a lot more to it than that.
Or they come in and say, "Oh, you guys should have did this in this moment. You guys should have listen." I don't want to hear it. Do not tell me.
Just give it a thumbs up, will you?
Go ahead and make a movie.
All right.
And I'll come watch it.
Man, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of work, so I commend you for that. But we're going to take another quick break. Want to talk to you about what you got coming up next. Okay. Everybody wanting to know. A lot of folks checking in here tonight. And then I got a couple questions that I need to ask you myself, so we'll do that next. This is Born to Ride Radio.
Early in my life, I knew I was going to be a creative because the world of design and art were number one in my book.
Willie G's place in motorcycle design history, it's unmatched.
How people relate to motorcycles was changed by Willie.
His product speaks for itself and how he has evolved it. There's an element in his design work that has this soul to it.
I believe I was born with gasoline in my veins and a crayon in each hand. I know the public, when they thought Harley-Davidson, they thought Willie G.
He started riding with the customers as a Harley-Davidson executive. People start talking to him, and they felt like, well, this guy gets it.
He was a biker himself. He had just the right personality and the right appearance to be the brand. And everybody got that image. It just clicked. Boy, you can't invent that. The custom world back then was anxious for a certain look, and that's where I came into the game.
Willie was one of the 13 guys that stepped up to the plate and bought the company back on a shoestring from AMF.
The fact that you had a guy whose name was on the gas tank and 2 generations removed from the founding fathers of the company was a very powerful thing for us.
Softail models entered the market, and that's when the Harley-Davidson really took off.
His life, his wife, his children, their lives revolve around this Harley-Davidson Motor Company.
This is our life. We love it.
It was amazing growing up and learning to ride a motorcycle at age 6.
It's the motorcycles, it's riding with friends to an event, it's meeting people, it's the experiences. I think my dad really enjoyed that excitement.
We just have done this together, which is the story of our lives.
So you're on this thing, right? And it's just you and the road and the wind and the trees, and it fills you up. You're flying, but centered. Lost, but found. Every part of your body's engaged, every part of your mind is activated. Synapses firing, dopamine oozing. It's chemical. You get off and you feel reborn. A god. Your spine is tingling, your core is vibrating, and that growl hums in your belly for the rest of the day. Because a great ride stays with you. It just lingers in your muscles and your bones and settles into your consciousness and seeps into the creases of your soul. Every hour is magic hour when you're on Harley. But the magic isn't about what the bike can do. It's about what the bike can do to you.
Need we say more? Only at Crystal Harley-Davidson, Homosassa, Florida.
Born to Ride TV Radio live every Tuesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. with Dave Flash Morgan, special guest, and Born to Ride TV content. At Facebook, Born to Ride TV Magazine. Read it, watch it, ride it.
Hey guys, this is Deputy LaCates with the Volusia Sheriff's Office. I want to welcome you to Daytona Bike Week 2020. One of the things I'd like to see is all the people here. We're glad that you all come, and I just want to make sure that you understand, please don't drink and drive and ride safe.
It is Born to Ride Radio. Sorry about that, Krista. I almost sang that right there.
No, that's good.
So a couple of questions I had for you. One, I saw in some of the scenes you were smoking a cigar. Do you smoke cigars normally?
No.
That was for the movie.
Yeah, it was just for the movie.
All right,
that was a big fat cigar.
I didn't know if you like to have a stogie every now and again, like I do. thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys are checking in here. Want to know what kind of bike do you have? What do you ride?
I have a Softail Slim S.
Yeah.
And a Street Bob.
How often do you get out and ride it? Ride 'em?
Not very often because I moved out to Bradenton now. But I love to ride, and there's absolutely no feeling like it. It is such
that's why we're bikers.
an adrenaline rush, and
Yes,
I don't want to ride with anybody else,
right?
But me.
There you go. No problem there.
Or on the back. I mean, I'm saying.
Right. She rides her own, fellas.
Yeah.
So calm down
a
little bit right there, will you? So we've got some great stuff. Again, tell folks where they can get Nation's Fire if they haven't seen it yet. Like I got to see it today, and I was on my Prime, Amazon Prime.
So it's available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It's available on Vudu, Hulu. There's so many different platforms digitally, and you can just actually Google Nation's Fire movie. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's also on demand on all local cable. So if you go to on demand on your cable, U.S. and Canada, you can go under Action Films, and Nation's Fire is under there.
Okay.
DVDs, of course, are available on Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy. All the major retailer websites. It's available in Walmart supercenters. So you can go into your local Walmart superstore, and Nation's Fire is there on the shelf.
I'll tell you what was funny is a few weeks back, folks were trying to get a hold of it, and they were sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out. They were flying off the shelf.
Yeah, when we did the Great American Motorcycle Show in Atlanta, and
I saw you and Debbie.
Sold out.
I saw you and Debbie over there hanging out.
Yeah, we were sold out at that time online too. So it was even Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart online, like all those. It was
Listen, I need
cool.
to hook you up with Mr. Nightlife over here.
Out of stock.
I need to hook you up with Mr. Nightlife over here. He's got a DVD burner. You can pay him some overtime. He'll sit in the back and just burn them.
Right? And we got it. We sell them on the website. But if you go to nationsfireofficialmovie.com,
okay,
then you'll see what retailers and where you can buy, rent, watch the movie. So.
Folks, I'm telling you right now, you're locked in the house because of the Rona. Get it. I watch it today. I'll probably go home and watch it again because I got it on Amazon Prime, baby.
Yay.
That's all I'm saying. So what's next for you? What do you got? What you got in the works? What's in the pipeline?
Oh, my gosh. I have so many ideas. There's so many things I want to do.
Yeah.
And there's another feature film that I'm working on now, and probably won't start that till next year. But it's based on the pole dance culture. We'll just say that.
All right.
But it will be an action thriller, too, and I want it to be a powerful movie,
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of guys just went, oh?
Yeah.
What?
So, hey, whatever's going to sell, that's what we're doing.
Listen, I hear Mr. Nightlife running down the hallway already.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
He's having a watch party over there on the Tampa Bay Nightlife.tv deal, as well as the Born to Ride. He's shipping it out all over the place.
All right.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming. This has been a great time in the underground bunker here, and you are welcome to come back anytime.
All right.
Please do.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And we will definitely get you back in here again soon, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
In all your future endeavors, and make sure you come back when you get the pole dancing thing ready, because I'm sure all the guys are going to want to know where to get that.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. That'll be great.
All right. Thanks again for being here. Born to Ride Radio. We will see you guys next Tuesday, same time, same Facebook channel.
Yeah, I have to say, Born to Ride has been a big influence on my trailer sales in the last 2 or 3 months. It's been nothing but a big surprise. I mean, the magazine articles, everything in the commercials, it's been nothing but the best of help to me in my business.
Is your business becoming invisible? Create a great advertising relationship today with Born to Ride. Call 888-795-5779.